Hey, hey, hey! It is Q&A Wednesday. I don't think that's an actual thing, or if it is, it's at least not one that I do. This is my first Q&A, but here we go. As much as I can talk answering a question, I probably should just jump right into it. But I did want to say that I believe getting to know each other and connecting is what life is all about, so if you want to, in the comments, answer any of these questions yourself or on my most recent Instagram post, that would be awesome, just so we can talk back and forth and get to know each other better. So thank you to everyone who asked these questions. It's pretty interesting. Okay, so right off the bat, what is your favorite animal? And I know I'm probably going to disappoint a lot of people, and they probably expect me to say tiger, but my favorite animal is actually horses. I have been obsessed with horses, felt so connected to them my whole life. When I was 5, I just fell in love with Black Beauty, the movie, watched it over and over again, and started saving up money for my own horse and bought a pony when I was 9. So that is where my heart is with horses. What's your favorite film? Well, let me tell you a story. Once upon a time, there was a 9-year-old little girl, and her father said, "Let's rent The Lord of the Rings," and my life has never been the same since. That movie is everything to me. You're not gonna find a bigger Lord of the Rings fan. I'm obsessed with those movies. They have... I can't stop talking about them now that I'm thinking about it, sorry. They mean everything to me, represent everything that my life is, the loss and the hope and the challenge and the trials, the overcoming, everything in those movies, the friendship, the loyalty, the culture, the elves, just the way everything looks. I am in love with that movie. It is cinematic perfection to me. What is your favorite body part to work out? If you would have asked me a month ago, I would have said quads, quads, quads completely, because I can push them harder than anything else and love the way it feels to just exert myself 100% in them. However, right now I'm not really training lower body that much. I have changed my goals, and now I want to grow my upper body more. And so at the moment it would be shoulders or lats. I really like the way it feels when I can feel my lats engage and shoulders burning, and so like pull-ups, shoulder presses, lat pull-downs, those are kind of my favorite moves at the moment, but really all upper body, but you asked one body part, so I will say shoulders. Someone just wrote, "Give ya an arm wrestle," and I laughed and laughed at that. Challenge accepted. What do you do for work? At the moment, I only work for Fitotomy online, so promoting their supplements. I don't have a vehicle at the moment. I am looking for one. Me and my husband shared a vehicle, and so yeah, things got tough. But my priority is to get a vehicle and then find a job, and I really hope to work with horses at a stable. That is like my dream job that I'm seeking out right now, but I may have to just settle for whatever I can find that is available. Yeah. Do you follow a program, or do you just lift what you want? Yes. I do both. I go through phases. I like to consider myself someone who thrives in organized chaos. I like a little bit of structure, but I like having the freedom to switch it up and go by how I feel. So what I normally do is have a plan of, I'd like to go into the gym and get this, 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 and this done. and I write down every exercise that I do, how many reps, what weight I'm using, if there's any variations, like how slow or fast the rep was, things like that, so that I can make sure I'm increasing and making it more challenging the next week. However, sometimes I get to the gym and I'm like, I do not feel like doing this tonight mentally. All I want to do is be here and lift and work out, and that exercise that I'd planned on doing doesn't sound good to me anymore, so I'm going to do this instead. So it does vary. I think if you have goals, it is really important to track your progress and to make sure that it is eventually getting, or not eventually, that it is increasingly getting harder and harder. But it's more important than that to just have fun with it and for it to not feel like a miserable chore. So if you love structure, wonderful. And if you hate it, you can still go in the gym and have fun. And as long as you just mentally keep track of what weights you are using, and you know that, oh, last week I was working, with like the 20-pound dumbbells. This time I'm going to try out some 25s, or do just one set with 25s, or increase my reps by adding 3 extra reps to each set, or add another set. There's a lot of different ways that you can change it, but yeah, just find what works for you, whichever way it's going to be the most enjoyable. Because if you hate it, if it feels like this is just nasty, I don't want to be doing this, then don't. You don't have to. Make sure it's fun, and that is the most important thing to me. So yeah, long answer there, short answer, I switch it up. I do both. I know it's about balance, but which do you focus on first? Diet, exercise, or rest recovery? As you said, they are all equally important. They are the holy trinity of working out. If you're failing at one of them, you're not going to be getting the best results. However, since you did ask for one, I would push rest and recovery the most, because I feel that is the least addressed. If you are eating great and putting in the best effort in the gym, but then you are burning your body out and just running yourself into the ground, you're not going to see the results, because the growth does happen when you are resting, when you are recovering. And at the moment, I know I look very small with all of the size that I lost very quickly, but I feel like I got to a really good place, and I was working out twice a week sometimes, and sometimes two or four workouts, like 2 full upper, or two upper body, 2 lower body. But a lot of that time I was resting, and even with just 2 exercises, two workouts a week, I would do 2 full body workouts, and then always having a 3-day rest period in between those at least. I saw tremendous growth. Before this happened, I had a 26-inch waist with almost 26-inch thighs, and I just felt like I made great progress for someone who was working out as little as I was, compared to some people who work out 5 or 6 days a week. If you love working out more, fine. That is wonderful. But you don't have to see results. And I really do believe that a lot of people who do train that often, if they did train less, they probably would see better results. But the main reason I do it that way is because of my joints. With my chronic pain and my joints being extremely flexible, and they're just very weak and vulnerable, they can't take a lot of stress over and over again. So I have to have that really long rest period so that they recover, even more so than my muscles. I feel like my muscles could handle a lot more damage, but my joints won't allow it, so I have to rest. And it works for me. I love it. So yeah, I would say prioritize your rest and recovery, but still, it should, it goes without saying, but the exercise, putting in the right amount of effort and increasing it, and your food being on point, making sure you're eating enough and you're getting quality food, good nutrition, they all go together. What's keeping you motivated? That is a question. That is a great question. And there's so many answers to it. Wow. What is keeping me motivated? What isn't keeping me motivated? At this point, I feel like everything that I have fought for, as far as I've come, I owe it to that person that has beat everything to continue on, to give it my best effort, and to find out what's around the corner, kinda. In this life, there are so many possibilities, so many options, so many beautiful and wonderful things, and I just want to see what's out there, and I want to experience so many things. I just want to press onward. People are one of my biggest motivations. First and foremost, it is for me. It is solely for me. But on the other side of that coin, it is for other people. Everything that I have suffered and experienced and went through, there are people out there right now in this moment in the exact same situation and in worse situations, and I want to be a beacon of light and show them that there is hope, that if I can do it, I know they can do it. We all have this amazing strength in us to overcome and be victorious, and that is a huge motivation to me. And being a vegan, it's really important to me to show everything that you can accomplish, and just promoting compassion, and that you don't have to eat animals to thrive. And that has been a really big drive of mine. That was one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get as big as my goals were before all of this. I wanted to show what muscle a female can create on a vegan diet, and at the moment that is not important to me. It is, I've reeled it back in and just made it more about making a body that I'm happy with. But that was another one, showing what someone who's had anorexia, what they can overcome. I think I have done a pretty good job of showing how comfortable I can be with my body in all stages. In the winter time, I was 157 pounds. Did I say that right? Why did that feel like I said that wrong? 157 pounds? I don't know, I feel like my brain just stopped working. Sorry about that. That is really heavy for me. When I look back at the photos, my waist was 4 inches wider than it is now, and I was really comfortable and happy in that super thick body. And now I'm smaller than I have been in 5 years, and I'm still happy. I want to show that a lot of people tend to think that once you have an eating disorder, it's something that is kind of there in you forever. It never really goes away. That you can find peace with it or acceptance, but you're going to have that haunting, that shadow, that devil on your shoulder your whole life that you have to ignore. And that is not true. It is not true. I have completely abolished all of those thoughts and those rules, and I am so happy, and I've found this peace and balance and these goals that just make me so happy and comfortable. And so that is another huge motivation. I'm sure I could think of more, but I think that is enough. You get my point. I am very motivated and driven by so many things. Have you ever thought of writing a book about your life experiences? Yes! I have plans to write multiple books, actually. I want to write one about my experience with anorexia and overcoming it, and then I want to do a fictional story that I've already actually started parts of it. I started it years ago, and I feel like now, as I've grown, it would take one another direction, but maybe I will start on it soon. The title, it's not solidified. I'm not totally certain that it's the right one, but it was something along the lines of The Girl in the Concrete Box. And what it is just kind of a, I'm so wordy and poetic, dramatic. That is what my soul is. That is how I express myself. And it was just almost an allegory of sorts. I don't know if that would be the right word, but just describing in this very dark and gloomy and gothic way what the depression and anorexia was like, and about this girl trapped in this concrete room with no walls and no door, no windows and no doors, and just her journey, being stuck in there, the insanity, and finally getting out. And yeah, so that is something that is in my future, and something I very much look forward to. I would also love to study Tolkien's work more and write something that flows in with all of his pieces about the children of Arwen and Aragorn, because, as I said, that story, those is everything to me. It's everything to me. So, I would just love to be able to write that, but that will require so much reading and research, because I would want everything to completely follow and be accurate to what he created. I would not want to travel away from that. My brain is struggling at the moment, struggling to come up with those words. Any tips to look younger? Yeah, let's see. Just keep checking the time. This is not something that I strive for personally at the moment, but I know a lot of tips anyway, just as I read things, research, and kind of, just gathering that useless knowledge. Obviously staying very hydrated, and it's more than just drinking water. It is about making sure that your electrolytes are balanced, that you're actually absorbing those waters, and that your cells are nourished and holding onto them properly. And a lot of people are chronically dehydrated and not even aware of it. So it is really important to make sure that your hydration goes beyond just drinking enough water. And of course, eating the right foods, an obvious one. Eating high anti-inflammatory foods will help a lot. A lot of high-fat foods. I love full-fat coconut milk and the very high cacao dark chocolate. Those are just things that I eat daily. There is I'm not going to recommend animal collagen, but there is plant-based collagen that you can get, which is supposed to be good for your skin. I don't have any experience with that personally. Algae is amazing, very good omega-3s. A lot of people think of fish when they think of, getting in your omega fats, but the fish get it from the algae. Go to the source. Algae is amazing for you. And caring for your skin, you can do facial massages, body massages, apply oils, essential oils that are good for you. A lot of the time, where I overuse my eyebrows, they move very much. Some days my wrinkles in my forehead are quite prominent, but I find that when they are that way, I have so much tension in here where these muscles are just exhausted, and if I massage them, it is extremely tender because there is just so much built up in here. And when I do massage them, my skin actually relaxes and looks really different. So stress is another huge factor, so finding ways to de-stress, meditate, and to intentionally breathe deep, things like that can make a really big difference. Sun exposure is one of the #1 reasons why your skin ages, so limiting that, or I don't know if I want to say sunscreen. If you believe in sunscreen, then go for it. Yeah, I think that covers it pretty well. You know, do research. If you want tips for looking younger, look up all kinds of ways. There's channels, YouTube channels dedicated to just looking younger, things like that. You can find it. Personally, yeah, just one more note on that. We are going to age, and I don't want to be one of those women who fears aging. Already, you know, when I see little changes in my face and skin, I want to be able to celebrate that and to embrace it as completely normal. We are not meant to look 18 when we are 30 or look 30 when we are 60. It is okay to age, and we need, as a whole, as a whole entire world, to embrace aging and the signs of aging and wrinkling. Yes, take care of yourself, but accept that it's going to happen. You know, you can even the best looking 80-year-old still looks old. It's not worth that effort to me personally. There are other things you can put your effort into. And, you know, just embrace it. Let's all embrace it together. It's okay. It is okay. What was your inspiration for bodybuilding? And then I just looked at this and realized that I did not write down one of the questions that was there. But on to this one. What was your inspiration for bodybuilding? Back when I was recovering, I went a whole year without doing any sort of exercise at all. Did not focus on my body. It was all eternal. But once I felt like I'd come to a really good place where I could start working out and have goals again, I found Lisa Marie on Body Rock TV, a YouTube channel. And this woman looked unlike anyone I'd ever seen before. I'm sure that in my life somewhere I came across women who were fit with developed muscles with a six-pack, but it seemed like I'd never seen it before. Looking at this woman, I was like, that is my new idea of perfection. That is something that I can work towards that is healthy. And having that drive, something to replace what my idols had been. On my computer I had saved so many pictures of emaciated runway models, just the sicklier and the skinnier, the bonier they looked, the more I was drawn to them and strived to be like them. And so I knew I had to replace all of that. That was not healthy. So my new idea of this idea of what I could look toward and try to attain was Lisa Marie. It just beautiful and works so hard, so fit, so strong. I just really identified with what she was and wanted to embody that. And you know, my goals did change over the years, because then it was about that upper body and the abs that I wanted more than anything, and I did workouts at home, but I'm back in that sort of mindset more so than anything now. I've kind of let go of the idea of having a six-pack because it's just genetically not something that is easy for me. So having a nice waist and a nice, you know, lean stomach is more a goal without thinking like I have to have a six-pack. But upper body, I want a nice back and upper body. So, you know, goals change, but the idea of embodying strength and having that confidence walking around, you know, like, yeah, I'm this powerful boss, that has stayed with me. And so I'm very thankful for Lisa Marie and all of the work that she does. And she's changed over the years too, but she's still doing her thing, still amazing. Look up to her. The other question, I don't have it written down, so I don't know exactly how it was worded, but I do remember what it generally said, and it was something to the effect of, do you think your body dysmorphia contributed to the role that you think your partner played in your life? I'm not sure if that is accurate. I know the idea of what they were asking is if because of my disorder I felt like I needed my husband more than I really did. And great question. And the very short answer is no. And I will explain why in a very lengthy, long way, as I always do. I met my husband first when I was 14, and before that even, I had seen him walking down the road just one day on my way to my cousin's house. We just passed him, and it was just immediately this, I was immediately taken. And I asked my cousin, she said, I saw this gorgeous guy with long black hair, he's wearing black clothes, and she's like, oh yeah, that's Bocce. And so then, you know, the sky opened up. That was the beginning. And when we started talking in 2006, when I was 14, there was an immediate connection. We only lived like 4 miles from each other, but we did most of our talking online, and we would just talk for hours and hours, and there was just an immediate connection and friendship, and became best friends, and then it developed into more, and there was this indescribable closeness. I could tell what he was feeling. There was one day, I remember so vividly, where I ran down into the woods crying, and I had no idea why, because I had been fine, and I talked to him that night, and he'd had a horrible day, and when we would talk online, it was like I could feel what he was going to say next. I could tell what emotions he was going through. Just, there's this bond that I can't describe. It just felt like finding the other piece of me. And so we didn't talk for 3 years after, you know, I'll leave that out to the side for now. It's a long story there too. But when we started talking again 3 years later, it was just like we picked up where we'd left off, and there was just this wholeness, and it felt like what I had looked for my entire life. It was the satisfying thing of, like, this is the meat of what life is made out of. And he did know that I had anorexia when we started talking again, and it did put a strain on our relationship in many ways, a lot of stresses that shouldn't have been there. But we overcame it. He stuck by me through all of it, and as I recovered, I knew that I had to recover for me, and it was because of me, and it was me doing it, and he supported that 100%. That was what he encouraged me to know and believe. It was never like, I'm going to be the one to fix you. It was like, you have to fix yourself, and I found that, and I did heal all on my own. We were together for 3 years, with me still having anorexia. It did not change my situation. Even though I was so happy with him, I still hated myself so much. And after I did recover, our relationship just blossomed. It was just this better thing. It was so much more free, and we were just closer. I felt like I was able to love him deeper, and he felt this relief that I loved myself. And so, yeah, that to me did not play a part in our journey. It was just there as a side note and something that he saw me through. He stuck by me through the worst of it, and we thrived afterwards. So I can't say what the future holds, or I can't say why we're not together right now, honestly. I don't have answers. It doesn't make sense. But I just have to trust and hope that there's some reason why it's happening, and I'm using it as time to grow within me, to fall in love with me, making sure that there is a marriage within myself, that I am whole, that I am one, and that I can stand on my own 2 feet, and that I don't need another person to complete me. It's not what I need, but it is what I want, because life with him is like just being able to share everything with one person, to me, is the most satisfying thing in the whole world. So that is what I long for again. But, that is all the questions. Thank you guys for listening. If you've made it this far in, you are all so awesome. If you have any more questions, maybe we can do another Q&A sometime. We'll see how it goes. But, yeah, hop down in the comments or on my Instagram and answer any of those questions if any of them are interesting to you and you would like to answer them for yourself and let me get to know you better. Hope you guys have an awesome day. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.